Hey up everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Hope you're all well. Tonight I'm going to be talking about another forgotten ground in the history of Rugby League and the history of the NRL. And I've done a few of these videos before, go check them out and made a playlist. But tonight, the video that I'm going to do, the forgotten ground, is Hurstville Oval. Now some of you might be thinking, Rugby League history, what's Hurstville Oval? Never heard of it before in my life. Well, Hurstville Oval was the original home ground of the St George Dragons Club from 1921 in their foundation to 1923, and then again from 1940 to 1949. Hurstville Oval is an important ground in the history of the St George Rugby League Club. The first match was played at the ground in round 6 of the 1921 season in St George's first year, and they played against University, and in front of a crowd of 10,000, St George won that match 19 points to 16. At the end of 1923, the club had some issues with the council. The club had issues with the facilities at the ground, and it was decided that they would relocate to Earl Park at Arncliffe there. So between 1924 and 1939, the club played at Earl Park and Arncliffe. Of course, Earl Park's the site of the famous Earl Park riot. But getting back to Hurstville Oval, the club had no choice but to retain the Hurstville Oval in the 1940 season, because at the end of 1939, the person that owned Earl Park passed away. The ground ended up going back to the council, and the council was willing to sell the oval to St George for a fee of around about £5,000. St George were in no position to take that. So without any further options, the club had really no choice but to go back to Hurstville Oval. So between 1940 and 1949, the ground was the home for St George, and it was also the start of one of their successful periods in the club's history. While they played at the ground, they won the 1941 Premiership, which was their first Premiership. They also played in the 1946 Grand Final loss against Belmead while they were still at the ground. And in their final year at the ground, they won their second Premiership when they defeated South Sydney. The biggest ever win at Hurstville Oval come on round the 4th, 1947, when St George defeated Manly 61 points to 11. Sorry, Lorenzo and Paddy G for that one. St George also set a couple of records that day. Jack Lindwall, he scored 6 tries, which was a club record, which was never bettered. And he also scored the most individual points, as well as a St George player at Hurstville Oval. The last ever game to be played at Hurstville Oval, that's your first grade rugby league match, was in round 12, 1949, when St George defeated Canterbury Bankstown 31 points to 10. At the end of 1949, St George were approached about still playing at the ground by the local council. The council wanted a fee of £500 a year to stay at the ground, but the thing was with Hurstville Oval, it had very basic facilities. It had very poor change rooms. The ground wasn't really up to scratch, so St George were looking for a new home, and they found that in Cogra Oval. In total, St George played 60 games at the ground between 1921 and 1949. They had 38 wins, 20 losses and 2 draws. As we know, they went to Cogra Oval after this, and the rest is history. The ground's still used as a cricket oval, as it was before. It's also been used for rugby union. Rugby League is still played at the ground. Kingsgrove Colts have played there, and it's also still used as a ground for the local St George District Rugby League club when it comes to juniors and things like that. It's a forgotten ground. Not many people would know that first grade rugby league was played at the ground. You can still go there. You can still go there today. The gates are open there if you want to have a look around. I didn't find a plaque when I went to the ground to see that first grade rugby league had been played there, as I did at Wentworth Park and a couple of other places like Pratton Park. But that's my video on Hurstville Oval tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you may have learned something new. If you did, make sure that you give the video a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing to the Rugby League History YouTube channel. Now, if there's any grounds that you'd like me to do, forgotten Rugby League grounds, which ones haven't I covered, which ones have I forgotten myself, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks very, very much for watching the video, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. This is Rugby League History signing off. Alright, tatty bye now.